Boom 97.3, I'm May Potts. It's Turntable Tuesday here at Boom, where throughout the day we intersperse some vinyl onto the airwaves. And joining us this afternoon, I'm so excited to meet you. Tom Cochrane is in our studios. Great to have you here.
Thanks, May. It's great to be here.
You know,
it's a good station. I've got some friends here that from the new ones.
Well, you and Wayne are music
Wayne and
director.
I go back
a
ways, yeah.
That's great. So now you're here, and we're talking about vinyl today. Do you still have your collection?
No, my daughter.
Oh, there you go.
Absconded with my collection. And then it's funny because she's a huge Aerosmith fan.
Yeah.
Monstrous. So she's met those guys 4 times. She's been lucky enough to meet them. But she'd come back to me. She got the collection when she was 12, and she would come back to me, months afterwards, and she said, Dad, you should really check out these 2 guys called Simon and Garfunkel. I said, that's my record collection. What are you talking about? She said, so she got most of the vinyl. My eldest daughter got a few pieces,
but I hope they didn't get your Stones, because I gather this is one that means a lot to you. This song, one that you kind of liked.
I just think that, I loved reading Keith Richards. There were 2 books. I guess his official autobiography. But, the Stones are the Stones, and they were the Beatles. We were all in a band when I was in high school. Everybody was in a band, and the 2 bands we always played were like the Beatles and the Stones and some Yardbird stuff. But those are kind of the bands you started out with. And then segued into Dylan and some headier stuff. But, I think Gimme Shelter, the beauty of that song, it's one of the greatest rock songs of all time. The hook is magical. But, on the new record we have, and I've used a lot of female background singers in my work. But, that's the real 20 Feet from Stardom thing. And,
right.
She sings magnificently.
But Just
track.
A Shot Away stands out more than anything else on that lyric.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
But even more than that, it's really where Mick was kind of segueing into. I wouldn't call the stuff political, maybe, but it was pretty strong material in terms of lyrically. It was very powerful, and so kudos to them for being brave.
Yeah, exactly. Well, great choice.
Yeah.
Tom Cochrane joining us for Turntable Tuesday. Gimme Shelter, Rolling Stones.
Love
One
this
of his
guitar
choices.
stuff. Too.
Yeah.
Piece of genius.
Boom 97.3, Just a Shot Away. Yeah,
Beautiful.
That's Gimme Shelter from the Rolling Stones. Tom Cochrane in the studio with Boom 97.3 for our Turntable Tuesday. Great to have you here with us.
Good to be here, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, this turntable thing. And I know that probably you had a lot of fun figuring out which songs you wanted to talk about, because, the one thing about the vinyl is that we do have very vivid memories of cracking that vinyl open and taking that album out the first time you put it on that turntable. And so I want to hear your story for choosing Fleetwood Mac.
With Fleetwood Mac, the first tour I ever did, I opened for Jose Feliciano. I don't know if you remember Jose, an incredible guitar player. Anyways, that was my first kind of concert tour that I did, and I think it was 75, 76. And we finished in Vancouver, and I got tickets through CPI, which later had become Live Nation. And for Fleetwood Mac, and I had no idea the band had changed. So Peter Green was in the band, I believe, and the band they had these 2 new artists in the band. So we went and saw their first show. This is the first show they ever played, and it was at the Queen Elizabeth. And they were so nervous. Like Lindsay had his eyes shut the whole show, and he was knocking over mic stands and popping strings, and Stevie was really nervous as well. And it was noticeable, but Mick Fleetwood and John McVie and Christine, they really held it down. But there was this incredibly intense energy that we look for in music, that we miss in music so much, that they brought to it. It was just, even though there were mistakes being made, you knew I was seeing something magic.
Right.
Just magic with this band. And the thing about those 2, that I relate to, is that I came from the folk era. So I started playing rock and roll music initially in high school and that, but then I kind of segued into coffee houses and playing folk music, which they did. That's where they came out of.
Okay.
And then they started this band. So I can relate to that, the way they create hybrids of folk with the rock and roll, and it's very noticeable when I listen to their stuff, and I find them a magical band. But again, this is an example of a guy that started as a folk guitar player that can play all these exotic acoustic instruments, and just how he can play great electric guitar, and just the intensity on this rock song. You Can Go Your Own Way. It's just, again, one of the best rock songs of all time.
It is, and it actually was dealing with that change. Everybody going their own direction and moving on.
Yeah, it's positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we almost had it queued up in the right spot, but it's coming now.
Yeah, I was going to say,
wait a minute.
This isn't it.
We just dropped the needle. That's the way we roll around here, but here it is.
You isn't the right